Hey everybody, it is Cal Nitro for Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, and this is my take of NXT in your house, June 7th, 2020, from Full Sail University in Winter Park, Florida, the ancestral home of NXT and the NXT brand for WWE. This event was a WWE Network exclusive. You can watch it on the WWE Network on demand. And some facts and figures around this show, which is pretty interesting here to begin with. This is the 29th NXT TakeOver event, and it falls on the 25th anniversary of the first In Your House pay-per-view back in 1995. This was the very first In Your House branded event since the St. Valentine's Day Massacre In Your House in February of 1999. Of course, that one went off the air with Stone Cold Steve Austin en route to WrestleMania 15 after being thrown through the steel cage by Paul White and Mr. McMahon, as I do the air quote. I don't know why I'm air quoting, but anyway. This was also the first NXT TakeOver event to be held at Full Sail University since TakeOver The End. That event was June 8th, 2016. So about a matter of about 4 years or so. And of course, that was the main event for the steel cage for the NXT Championship between Samoa Joe and Finn Balor. Joe retaining the NXT Championship in that one. What an awesome opening. We come right into the Full Sail University or NXT arena, and Code Orange opens up with a musical performance, and we see that the set is there, the actual set from In Your House, the old house set. And there was a lot of fun and a lot of puns made during this pay-per-view, harkening back to that era. So it was kind of like, like an anniversary version of Monday Night Raw or something, kind of marking this, the 25th anniversary of the very first In Your House pay-per-view way back when. So, it's I loved it. I had a lot of fun just watching for the inside references and that stuff, and I thought that this was a unique look, and also kind of cool that they allowed that they're it's other NXT talent, of course, but they're around the ring and that stuff, and so there was a little bit of an audience reacting and cheering. I'm still not crazy about the plexiglass, to tell you that. I think it's kind of a little weird. I think that that's less of a coronavirus control thing and more of, we don't want people, when we start bringing people back into arenas and that stuff, jumping the barricade, so this is what we're going to do from now on type crowd control measure. I'm still not crazy about that, especially with other promotions such as AEW not even bothering with that at all, and laughing at WWE for that sort of implementation of plexiglass like it's some sort of rollerball thing or so. I don't know. But anyway, opening contest, a 6-woman tag to open things off, and it was Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Nox taking on Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. The running time for this match was 9:50, a very strong opening bout. Every girl kind of goes in there, and it's the 6-man, the 8-man tags. It's a showcase of, okay, you go in there for a bit, showcase what you got, then she comes back, fires back a little bit, then the next person comes in, showcase what they got, boom, 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 boom. And this felt like a New Japan Pro Wrestling style 6-woman tag, a lot of things going on. LeRae and Yim, their feud kind of continues as they both brawl to the back, leaving, basically a normal tag team match for the rest of the match, going forward, with Nox and Blackheart taking on Kai and Gonzalez. The finish, Tegan Nox with the pin on Dakota Kai with the shiniest wizard, again getting the pin at 9:50. And that was the match. So, second contest of the night was Finn Balor taking on Damian Priest. 13:05 for a runtime. Finn Balor hitting the coup de grace at the end on Priest for the 1-2-3 count, and a big victory, but it was a very competitive match that's seen Priest dish out a lot of punishment and looked really good in the ring. I think he elevated himself against Balor tonight, and Balor really getting over this new second run of him in NXT as a heel. The Prince Balor character, is really stepping forward with this, on this run. I think he might be due in line for, again, another either North American or NXT title shot coming up, maybe in the fall. We'll have to wait and see in that trajectory and see where that's going. And Priest, same deal. I think this match tonight kind of elevated him a little bit as well. This was a potential match of the night contender. I had it shortlisted on the match of the night poll over on Twitter at Kellen Nitro. We'll wait until the end of the review and we'll take a look at what match you guys voted on over on Twitter as match of the night. Next contest, Keith Lee taking on Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American title. This was a hard-hitting encounter. I laughed at Gargano's entrance. Basically, he's in the house, he's all suited up, and he walks by a 8x10 of Doc Hendricks doing his thing from the 1990s, and he looks at the thermostat and kind of turns it down to 69. And it's like, just so many inside references. Oh my god. Kind of nods. It's like, yeah, that's better. And he walks out of the front door into the arena. And, before he does that, he has his house keys with him and he drops them into his trunks like a heel would, as if he was hiding a weapon or something. And those keys would become a factor in the match a little bit later on. There was an oh my god moment about 7 or 8 minutes into this thing on the outside as Keith Lee pounces Gargano through the barrier and the plexiglass on the outside of the ring. This was a really cool new spot. I think we'll see this a little bit more often now that they've gone to the plexiglass around the ring. It's a good kind of cool way to utilize it. You can gimmick it and get it out of the way if you have to for spots and so on and so forth. That was a really interesting use of the plexiglass and the ringside area. Candice LeRae comes out, tries to interfere. Mia Yim comes out and fights off LeRae as they continue their battle. Probably something in the coming weeks on NXT. We're going to see a big blow-off that's leading towards something. Gargano then, though, reaches in and grabs the key from earlier in his tights, the key I was telling you about, and he attacks Keith Lee's eye and gets a 2 count. This wasn't the one that was hurt on NXT last week. This was the opposite eye. They were trying to get over the opposite eye, I guess, to maybe blind him totally or something. It didn't really translate very well onto television, I thought. I guess it was kind of the way that they were selling injuries and that stuff going into this match here. It came in a good spot in the match toward the very end of it. Lee, though, fights out of everything and lands the Big Bang Catastrophe for the 1-2 free count, and Keith Lee retains the NXT North American title in a runtime of 20 minutes and 35 seconds and a potential match of the night contender. What wasn't my favorite match of the card, but it was still very interesting. I thought it was all right. The Backlot Brawl was up next for the NXT title. The challenger, Velveteen Dream. If he loses tonight, he cannot challenge for the NXT title again. As Adam Cole is, as long as Adam Cole is the champion, taking on Adam Cole, the NXT champion. And so this was a full cinematic that was shot on May 28th. That they just shot everything that happened, action-wise. Mauro Ranallo, Beth Phoenix, and Tom Phillips just called it live. This was much like AEW Stadium Stampede. In fact, this was the answer to AEW's Stadium Stampede. They would have had a chance to see what AEW had done as they shot the Stadium Stampede stuff on the 22nd, the night before Double or Nothing on the 23rd on that Saturday. So, again, this is the Wednesday Night War at its finest between the two companies. Whatever you can do, I can do better. So, Cole shows up in an awesome four-wheel drive and Dream in a Lamborghini, and the match starts with a couple of near falls in the ring for both sides and then goes to the outside. I don't know if this was really well written, but I kind of laughed at the Uber gag. There was a girl in a black van that pulls up and yells, "Did somebody call for an Uber?" and the ref's like, no, this is the middle of a fight, and they fight through the Uber, and the girl's like, oh, my car, my van, ah. And as soon as they wrestle out of the van, she just peels out of there. Very funny. The Undisputed Era tries to get a upper hand in this with Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong showing up to help out Adam Cole, pulling up in a vehicle in a white car while Dream and Cole were on a ladder on the outside. Cole, though, ends up taking a huge back bump into the windshield of this car. And, while this is going on, Undisputed Era again looks to get the upper hand, but Dexter Lumis is left under the ring, and he takes care of the UE, attacks both Strong and Fish, and bundles them up and throws them basically into the trunk of the same white car and takes off. So that neutralizes the Undisputed Era threat. There is a Panama Sunrise attempt by Adam Cole, but that gets countered into a Dream Valley Driver by Velveteen Dream, but it only lands for a 2 count. Velveteen Dream, though, gets hit with a low blow shortly thereafter, and Cole hits the Panama Sunrise onto a pile of chairs, kind of ECW Terry Funk style, in the middle of the ring, and gets the 1-2 free count. Unfortunately, Velveteen Dream will never get another shot at the NXT title. Your winner and still NXT champion for 372 plus days now, Adam Cole, baby. Todd Pettengill slinging merch like the old days, telling people to call the 1-900-4WWF line, but that's out of business, so he's like, man, what do we do now? Well, I guess you just go to the World Wide Web and WWEshop.com to buy your stuff. Next match, Tommaso Ciampa takes on Karrion Kross with Scarlett in Kross's corner. I'm still unsure the whole extraness with Kross's entrance. It kind of reminds me of watching like a DVD from, Nightwish or one of those really operatic monster huge metal bands with the symphonic metal almost from like Norway or Finland or something. It's pleasing and it's awesome to do on a big event. Every week though, I don't know. That less is more. But Kross is just ragdolling Ciampa early on. But Ciampa fights back. A Widow's Bell attempt by Ciampa. He nails Kross with it. Only lands a 2 count. But Kross hits a F5. Yeah, shout out to Brock Lesnar there. He hits a F5 and then locks in the Kross jacket submission and gets the pass out victory as Ciampa doesn't give up, but he passes out. The runtime on that one is 6 minutes and 10 seconds, and it proves that Kross is probably going to be this guy that's going to be hot-shotted into the North American or the NXT title program going forward. I think this is going to be a guy that they're going to build a undefeated streak with, and that he's just going to be crushing people a la Goldberg, a la Brock Lesnar in NXT. And we really haven't seen anybody singles-wise do that in NXT in the past. Sure, you had a tag team like the Ascension way back in the early days of the brand that was steamrolling through people on an endless basis, but now I think that it's going to be interesting to see here. I just think that a simpler entrance would get over just as well as this really complex one, because it takes way too damn long. The segment, half the segment is him walking out to the ring. We didn't look into the crowd, and Robert Stone kind of stumbling around. Chelsea Green kicked him to the curb last Wednesday on NXT. He's seen better days. The NXT Women's title was the main event, and of course this was the triple threat. Charlotte Flair, the champion, going in against Io Shirai, the challenger, and the other challenger, Rhea Ripley, the woman that Charlotte Flair had defeated for the NXT Championship back at WrestleMania on night 2. So this match got the main event spot. This is the first time since NXT TakeOver Respect the women have main evented on a pay-per-view show. This was a hard-hitting encounter. This contest went for 17 minutes and 35 seconds with Io Shirai getting the victory and probably a huge pop at home. It would have been big pop in arena because Shirai is kind of now has turned face again, the NXT universe and in storyline wise and that stuff, just with this edgy character now. So this was a really shocking result as Shirai walks out with the new NXT championship. In my opinion, I don't think a lot of people had her pegged to win this. It was either going to be Flair retaining or Ripley getting back the NXT title. Shirai gets the pinfall on Ripley after Charlotte put Ripley into the figure 8, but Shirai hits her famous flying moonsault off of the top rope onto Ripley when she's in the figure 8, and that breaks up Charlotte and jacks Charlotte's knee enough that she can't do anything to break up the pin, and a 1-2 free count. Shirai walks out with the belt, and Shirai was there was a great spot with her and Charlotte where Charlotte threw her through the window of the house, but then Shirai Alice Shawn Michaels climbs up on top of the roof of the house and delivers a crossbody off of it. This match was made for her. This was her coming out party, I think, in NXT, and she is the new NXT Women's Champion, brought up by AEW competitor Emi Sakura earlier tonight on Twitter. 3 of the major women's titles now in North America are held by Japanese Joshi superstars. Hikaru Shida is the AEW World Women's Champion. Io Shirai is the NXT Women's Champion. And, of course, Asuka is the WWE Raw Women's Champion. So, a good time for Joshi for sure. It's been kind of a very topsy-turvy year for that movement in Japan and basically pro wrestling in general in Japan. So it's kind of cool to see that, 3 of the top stars in wrestling right now are Japanese female athletes, and each of them headline and are the champions of their respective brands. So going forward, an awesome result, great pay-per-view. Out of 10, I'll give this show an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was an awesome 2.5 3-hour watch. Loved all the callbacks to the nostalgia in it. Adam Cole and the Ico Pro ad was funny. The sandwiches that Good Humor is making, I hope they make those here, or available up here in Canada, I should say, because I'll go pick them up and try them out for the channel for sure, see how they taste. We'll do a gimmick table on that for sure. So I'll keep an eye out for those, and just top to front, a very solid card. Not too much, not too little. It was a takeover. It delivered as it should. The only real down point of that card was I thought the 6-woman tag at the beginning, and of course that's an opening contest just to get people on the card, so, and showcase what they do. So I thought that every match delivered, even that 6-women's tag delivered, and it was fun. So as I record this, there's still 29 minutes left on the poll, but as I take a look at it, your pick for match of the night is an overwhelming 66.7%, the NXT Women's Triple Threat match, the main event match with Shirai, Flair, and Ripley. So to you, I say congrats. You deserve it. Go get an ice cream sandwich. I'm Kellen Nitro, Later Days. Happy wrestling watching, folks. And I have to thank some people beforehand. I spent the first hour of this card over on the Crosspoint Video Games and Wrestling Facebook page with a bunch of people. So thank you to Jameson and Ricky, who had me over on their live stream for the first hour. I kind of sat through the pre-show with them and through that opening women's 6-man tag, with a myriad of characters, and it was a lot of fun sitting in. So if you are a fan, head over to the Crosspoint Video Games X Wrestling discussion board and Facebook page, and ask for an invite, and come on in and take a look at what we recorded. It was a lot of fun hanging out with them. I hadn't done live streaming in a long time, especially live stream reactions, and that might be something that we might do with this channel here a little bit later on. But it was another great time. Again, thanks to Ricky and Jameson for having me in there. All right, folks, Later Days, happy wrestling watching. We'll catch you next time on Nitromaniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Take care.